Hey y'all, Ramdino here, coming at you again for another Appalachian Trail community news, through hiker update, and trail information. Well, apologize for not having the update last week. I was out because I was getting on the trail myself, going to my happy place and spending some trail time out there doing a section up in Virginia. So it was an awesome time, greatly enjoyed it, saw a ton of through hikers out there, and that was just really neat to hang out with them and at shelters and stuff. And of course, even though I was at the back end of the bubble, and of course there were section hikers there, I still a lot of the time was hiking by myself, as is the case on the Appalachian Trail. So you can still find solitude even out there with a lot of hikers. So it was really neat to do that, and not going to mention any names because I'll leave somebody out, but that video will be coming out here sometime in the very near future. Now, we got a lot of stuff to catch up on, a lot of new stuff, some stuff while it's gone. So let's go ahead and dive right in. What's going on out there with the through hikers and other stuff going on the Appalachian Trail? To begin with, before I start that, I want to say a big shout out there to all the fathers. This is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to everybody. So we just appreciate all you do for us. My father, even at the ripe old age of 84, is still very much alive, very active. Got it all up here and got it all physically. So and my mom as well, but of course my father we're talking about, and so that's just awesome. So thanks, Dad. Love you very much, and we'll just looking forward to spending more time with you. So back to the trail. All right, so we got Patriarch. He is in the northern shanties and has enjoyed the waysides very much. Hopefully he got him one of those blackberry milkshakes up there. Togo and Owl, they have made it to Max Patch, but they have to take care of some issues back home, and their goal will be to get back on and resume flipping up north to Palo, New York in about 2 weeks or so. Bubbles is north of Penmar and still having a blast. So Penmar there is a park right before you get to the Mason-Dixon line. And she hit Harper's Ferry and said that she was number 643 at Harper's Ferry and was number 243 at Springer, which is kind of unusual. Usually you're lower at Harper's Ferry than you are at Springer. So, but Bubbles may have just been taking her time, and that may be the reason for that. But that does indicate that we've had at least 643 hikers, Nobo hikers, because they differentiate between flip-floppers and Sobo, Nobo hikers that have come through Harper's Ferry. Lollipops, they are in Vermont. They said Vermont was dry to start off with, but then the rains ensued and they had 2 days of it, and after 2 days, they understand the term vermud. I bet they do. I get that too. They finished the day hiking in a really intense rainstorm, and they are up and over Stratton Mountain, and they'll be had to go home or take care of some, get back off trail, take care of some things, and be back on trail with 500 miles to go to Katahdin, they say. So they did indicate that something bit them through their mesh head nets that they were wearing. So they don't know what it was. It was something small, maybe biting gnats. I don't know if that's a thing up there or not, or how they got through those mesh. Never had a problem with that before, but I've never really had to wear mesh more than a day or so up there as well. But they did say there's no black flies yet. Blade Runner got started on her Sobo this week. Mountain Lion and Strider, they have passed the 800-mile mark. So they say Barely is no longer hiking with them, but is running support, Sherpa, shuttling, and resupply. And she barely got off the trail somewhere around mile marker 637. Bear Hang said it rained every day in Maine. The hiking has been dicey to say the least, and the mud has been horrid, and occasionally the trail has been the stream, or as I call, the trail is the water source. But he finally caught a break, and he has arrived at Baxter and should be summiting maybe today or maybe tomorrow. He's spending time with his family there, and I guess it's Menominee. But he is going to get up there, so looking forward to his summit picture. We should have that for you next week. Ozoner, he took a couple days off a trail due to smoke issues there in New York, but he has gotten back on trail there in Kent, Connecticut for about 2 to 4 weeks. But when he did get back on, he had to get back off because he had a foot injury. He sprained his upper left foot somewhere around Pennsylvania to New Jersey and has been hiking ever since then. He got to the Warwick Theater and it was still giving him problems, and he felt like he should have got off there, but that's where his pain really started intensifying. So he's gotten off there in Kent, Connecticut, and going to take a few weeks off, try to let that heal. Lucky Penny and Prickleberry, they should be well into New Hampshire by now. Yellow has made it to the Warwick Drive-In and probably through New York by now. And Yellow also saw Bobcat on the trail. Just Cuz, she is new to the channel. She's made it to Harper's Ferry, and she was number 1804 at Harper's Ferry. No, that's not right. At Amicalola Falls State Park, and then she was number 511 at Harper's Ferry. So normally she went down. She is probably in Pennsylvania by now. And I say some of these are probably because they were updates that sent it in last week when I hadn't had my recent update, and when I didn't do the update because I was out there on the trail. OG, he should be almost done with Vermont. Matter of fact, he is done with Vermont. I heard from him yesterday, and he is in New Hampshire. Cobweb Rose, Snapshot, and Mountain Crusher, they have made it to Harper's Ferry. They have made it past the Mason-Dixon line and are into Pennsylvania. They did want to brag on themselves. They had a quadruple accomplishment back in Virginia, that they had a single-day slack pack on the roller coaster in 86-degree heat. And they hit the 1,000-mile mark there. They crossed into West Virginia, and they hiked their longest day of 22 miles. So that was awesome. A lot of accomplishment there in one day. Stinger, he has climbed Mount Moosilauke, and he is out into the Kinsman. Jersey, he is out of Pennsylvania and into New Jersey, and he's got a special message for all the dads out there. So Jersey, hit it.
Hey Ramdino, how you doing? Jersey from Jersey Redneck Adventures here. I'm right outside Delaware Water Gap. I'll be there by the end of today. I want to take a moment to say thank you for being the ambassador for the hiking community along the Appalachian Trail, and that we as that community need to support you. It's a wonderful job, and it's a lot of work that goes involved with it. So I appreciate it. Thank you. That being said, I want to wish my dad a happy Father's Day. And men, take your day off. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Enjoy it, kick back, then back to work on Monday.
Thanks, Jersey. Couldn't agree more. Soup Cup, he is in Connecticut. Took a bad fall yesterday, bent his right leg up under him, and somehow he could still walk, although slowly. Said his knee was very stiff, and he's taking it day by day to see if it gets worse. So that trail out there will take a toll on you. Oz, he made it to the 1900, and that's Oz the hiking sailor. He made it to the 1900-mile mark, and he is really starting to storm up the trail. I think he's found another gear. Blue, he's past the halfway mile mark and is north of Duncannon. His family came out and did some section hiking with him, so that is awesome to have your family come out and hike with you there. So nice motley crew you got going there, Blue. So great picture there of y'all. Looks like they're having a lot of fun. But he did say that his family has gained a whole new respect for the Appalachian Trail. And of course, he's got his trail legs, and once you hit that trail the first time, particularly wherever you're at with the hills and everything, you will gain some new respect for it. Honey Bun, he is through the Triple Crown. Wrong Way, she has made it to New Hampshire. Kenny Powers, he has also made it through the Triple Crown. Frodo, he has made it to Monson. Mosey is coming into the Shanties, and she right now is hiking with Tree Hugger, who started with her earlier in the year but got off the trail. But I know where they're at because they were one of the folks that I met at a shelter. And Mosey, thanks for the cookie. That was an awesome cookie that you shared with me there. Hiram Hikes, he has made it past the halfway point. Trash Hiker, he has made it past the Presidentials. And Cruz has probably made it through New Hampshire by now, is into Maine. But I wanted to show you this from 2 weeks ago when he was up at Mount Washington. So this was just 2 weeks ago. Mount Washington has gotten snow and adverse weather conditions every month of the year. Not every year, but every month of the year over the years. And so you don't know when it's going to snow, when it's going to get cold up there. it's going to be cold and more than likely windy at Mount Washington when you come through there. So this is just an example. So remember that when you're sending all your winter gear and stuff home. So some summits that we had, or a summit that we had that's reported in, Rainbow and Mountain Goat, who are from Pisgah Forest, North Carolina, my home state. They started hiking north in February from Springer, and they have summited. So that is awesome. They are siblings out there. They're also known as the Runaways, and they completed their summit on June 10th. And they said that their Katahdin summit card was Nobo hikers number 8 and 9 to the summit. So undoubtedly we've had a lot more since then, but that just shows you that even from that time period up till now, we hadn't had a whole lot. Of course, June, right before June 1st is when the Katahdin actually opened up. Baby Boomer is off trail, so she listened to her body and she got off the trail. She loved the entire trail experience that she had and wanted to give a shout out to Allison and Open Arms Hostel. She says she runs an awesome hospital and shuttle service, went out of her way to support her in doing what she wanted to do. But she's done. And then Wings, he is off trail permanently. So he had 2 bilateral stress fractures and a meniscus tear. Got off trail to go back and rehab all that and heal it. And then he got off at Hot Springs, was on his way back to the trail, got a call back that there was an emergency back home that he had to go back to, and so he's just decided he is not going to be able to finish his hike this year, and so he is done. So I hope everything gets worked out for you, Wings, back home. Be thinking and praying about that. So those are the folks that have gotten back to us. If you want to be part of my update, then just send me through any of the links down below. You can send me a DM through Instagram or Facebook, or you can also send me an email. All those work good. Send me a video, pictures with you in it. I don't typically give pictures of just a mile marker unless you're in it. People want to see your smiling faces out there. So send those to me. Greatly appreciate everybody that's done that. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment. Love your comments out there. Love responding to those. But really like all the nice comments that you send me out there. They really keep me going with what I do here. And it's just great to get those comments. Want to give a shout out to a new Patreon member. That's Randy Chase. Thanks, Randy, for being a Patreon member and believing in what I do here. And then also Jason Spears 1246. He sent in a super thanks. So thanks for both you guys for doing that. So if you want to become a Patreon member and support this channel in your more tangent way of doing that, then you can. Otherwise, then Patreon link is down below or up above on the top of my channel border up there. And then also, of course, super thanks are active, and you can do that, and that's right below this video. All those things help me improve the channel and get stuff for the channel that we need here, equipment, and just get out there and help other hikers and things like that. So thanks a lot. Of course, your comments and subscriptions and your likes, all those help the channel as well. So greatly appreciate what everybody does out there for me. So some news out there going on. I had a viewer sent in that they have a pedestrian bridge that is in the offing that has been approved. The design has been approved up at Snickers Gap on the AT up there in Virginia. So going to cost somewhere around $7 million. So all they have is kind of a basic design of what they've agreed upon doing. So obviously it's going to take a while to do that, but that is a very, very dangerous intersection there. I have been through that intersection before, and it's like 4 lanes of traffic trying to cross through there, and it's really bad because it's going downhill where the trail crosses, and it's right at a kind of a curb. And so particularly, it's like everybody's doing 70, 75 coming down there. You get a couple of tractor trailers coming down there and they got to lock it up. Then it is a very, very dangerous. Shoulder drops off to the side there, so they have needed something for years there. Surprised somebody hadn't been killed at that crossing. But there's no other alternative to get around that. So they're going to be doing something. Don't know how long it's going to take to do that. that is in Virginia. The ATC hopefully will kick in some of that money that they got from the Mountain Valley Pipeline, that hush money they got for them to stop talking about the Mountain Valley Pipeline, the $19.5 million. So it's in Virginia. Hey guys, kick in some money for that. Let's get that thing built sooner rather than later. Or how about providing some bear boxes? That was, and some bear cables. That was one thing hiking through Virginia while I was out there, is that there are some shelter sites and campsites that are designated campsites that don't have cables or don't have bear boxes. So those are needed. And my understanding is the $19.5 million hush money they got can only be spent in Virginia. So there's some stuff that needs to be done in Virginia. So let's start doing some of that. Or how about this? Virginia can be some dry spots. Let's dig some wells up there. I know you're more in the habit of closing wells, but let's dig some pump wells up there in places in Virginia, particularly when it's dry. So those are just some suggestions for you. Use them or lose them. And then our northern correspondent Whispers, he sends in that the Brassy Brook shelter is complete and the Riga shelter is likely already being started. So these are some shelters up north in New Hampshire that they're replacing. And so hopefully that Riga will be ready to go here shortly. And then he also sent in, they had an injured solo through hiker that had to be evac there on the Kinsman Ridge Trail. She had slipped on a wet route, had a... Okay, those are my dogs over here. One of them is my wife's doodle dog that's bouncing this camera around. So I'm going to have to get them to move here for just a second. Never ends. They're like a bunch of children around here. So anyway, back to the injured hiker that we had up there. Was evac. The rescue team got in there and had a 3.5 mile carry out there, and there was several hours between when it was reported to when they got out. But I mean, it's going to take that kind of time for rescue to get in there and to get you out. And we also had a lasher that fell and struck her head on rocks, so that took a couple of hours up there in New Hampshire to get her out. So that took a couple hours out there to get her out, and but she had lost consciousness, but everything's turned out okay. And if you know either one of these hikers, the hiker there was identified on the Kinsman's Trail, was identified as Allison Murray from Vandreuil d'Or in Quebec. So if you've hiked with Allison, she is off trail. She was experienced and well-equipped hiker, so it didn't have anything to do with her experience or being equipped properly or not. And then the hiker that had the head injury was Sarah Zettler. She's 47 from Bexley, Ohio, and that was the one that had the head injury and had to be evac'd out there. So if knowing one of those, they're fine, but they are back now. Zettler also had the appropriate gear and supplies, and she did possess a hike safe card. So there are certain states where you can purchase a hike safe card, and basically what that hike safe card does, it's $25, and if you have to call rescue in there to get you, then you are not charged for that rescue. Now you'll probably be charged for the ambulance ride and all the hospital, but you won't be charged for the actual rescue personnel having to come in there and get you. So a lot of times you are charged for that, but with a hike safe card you aren't. And the proceeds go to the search and rescue fund that pays for people that can't afford or they can't otherwise get them to pay for the rescue, the volunteers. But the volunteers have, you know, things that they have to pay for, gas they got to get there, and first aid supplies, things like that. So that's a no-brainer to go and buy that when you're up there. $25 goes to a good cause, and you never know when you might need that. And then Whispers also says starting today that almost all, if not all, of the rest of the Katahdin Trail up to the Katahdin Trails up to Baxter Peak will be open. So most people take the Hunt Trail system up there, but they maybe come down on the Knife Edge Trail. So, but all those will be open. He says that the smoke has lessened, but next week's looking mostly clear. I did look at this pretty cool website that shows where the smoke is, and so obviously the smoke is all the way up and down the trail, still coming from Canada, but we're going to get some rain coming through, so that'll help clear it up. But unfortunately, it is still here. A lot of fires still burning, even some fires burning down in the States that are causing some issues with that. So some other news we got out there, Bennington is having their second annual Trail Fest there in Bennington, Vermont. That's on July 29th. So they are a trail town, and they're trying to, have a trail fest that kind of build it up for hikers that are coming through. And so they'll have food, of course, and music, and don't know if they'll have vendors yet since it's just in its second year, but that'll be something you're going to be in the area to hang out and do. And then Fresh Ground and Leapfrog Cafe, of course, he's out west right now on the CDT, but he'll be coming back for Sobo season, and he is right in the middle of raising money for Sobo season so that he can feed the Sobos that are coming through. And of course, any late nubos or flip-floppers or just really anybody, he will be feeding them. And the Doodle Dog has the zoomies, so that's all that ruckus you hear going on over there. But Fresh Ground and Leapfrog Cafe, the Leapfrog Cafe is a 501c3, so it's tax deductible. Any money you give to that, there's a link down below where you can go and find his Facebook page, and there you'll find all the ways that you can give to him online or by check with a carrier pigeon or snail mail, whatever. But you can give to Fresh Ground, and in Fresh Ground, that is a very worthy cause. Trail Angel out there feeds a lot of hikers, does a lot of good for the hiker community. So we appreciate everything that Fresh Ground does. Also got a notice there from the ATC that the water source at the Pochuck Mountain Shelter, which is a water spigot on a vacant house. Talk about that in just a minute. But it's trail north of the lake, Wallkill Road, Liberty Cornings Crossing. The water spigot is shut down due to a leak. And the ATC says that this section kind of is a populated area without good water sources. So now the one that they had there at a vacant house has been taken away. Now, why would that be a designated water source at a vacant house? What happens when that house gets rented out and somebody decides to move in? Are they going to let hikers get water there? That's just the craziest thing I've ever heard, to have a vacant house be a water source. But anyway, that is their idea for it. So maybe they need a well or something there as well. Think about that, ATC. And then also the ATC received a report of a food condition bear at the Clyde Smith shelter. So that is trail south of the Roan Mountain Highlands area there at Nobo Mile 370. They said the bear tried unsuccessfully to open a bear canister, and the hikers involved were able to scare the bear off come dawn. So that was their verbiage. The hikers involved were able to scare the bear off come dawn. Don't know if that's proper grammar. One of you teachers out there can maybe set the ATC straight with what would be the proper grammar there, but that really don't sound like the proper grammar. But in any case, there is a bear somewhere around Clyde Smith shelter there, and so you should be aware of it. And then a lot of y'all leave comments for my first son, Coda, and I thought I'd let you know, and you've heard him and the Doodle Dog, who actually has a name, Daisy, running around here in the leaves making all this racket. So they are doing good, and they are getting along just fine. Here's a picture of them getting along. I know this looks like that they're not, but trust me, they are. So in any case, y'all seem to like my dogs for some reason, so it's always nice to have man's best friend around, and still getting used to the Doodle Dog. But in any case, that's all I got this week, folks. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here. Oh, Daisy, calm down. Calm down. This is Daisy. All right, come here, Coda. You come here. Come here, Coda. Come here. And this is Coda. Give me a kiss, Coda. Coda, give me a kiss. Okay, thanks, buddy. See ya.